Hey guys, David here. I hope you've had a nice reflective Memorial Day weekend, and just thought I'd make a quick video just with some of my memories for Memorial Days of the past. When I was a kid, I remember having picnics with my family for Memorial Day. We were going fishing with my grandpa at Hart Park, which I filmed, a few weeks ago. But there was the river runs beside it. As you can hear, Penny's recuperated now. She's back to barking at the neighbors running around, which is good news. Anyway, when I was a kid, we'd have, picnics and stuff like that, barbecues on Memorial Day at the park and all that. But I remember also my mom, when she had me, she was fairly young, 19. By the time I was 20, my youngest sibling, he was born when I was 20. So, a few years after that, I was married, and Amy and I had our own house and all that. But my mom, at that time, had a young family, and when they were kids, my siblings, Tricia, Leah, and Jeremy, her and my stepfather, Jim, they were into camping. So they start off with a tent. They'd go camping with a big canvas tent, and then they had a camper that they would use. My mom would cook in the camper, and then they bought a cabin up in the mountains, about an hour from here. But I remember most of the years when they had a camper, because my mom was able to cook in there and stuff. So I remember Amy and I, after we'd been married for a couple of years, we'd go up and meet them, usually on a Friday night, because they'd go camping usually on a Friday evening or a Friday afternoon. They'd go up there, and Amy and I would go up in the afternoon sometime, and we'd just meet them up there and sit on the campfire and eat dinner with them. And back then, I always had a paper route that I would get up early and do, so we'd go up there and come home late on a Friday night, and I'd have to get up like at 4 the next morning and do newspapers. But I just remember going up there and to the mountains when it was dark, and it was always neat because my siblings were little kids at the time, and we would laugh and giggle and do all the things that little kids do, But I remember my mom would always be cooking in the camper or getting things ready, and they'd always cook over a campfire, in their camping thing. But I actually stayed up there one time with them overnight. But anyway, my mom would do that. They'd come home, and usually by the end of the weekend, Monday, they'd all pack it up and come home. They'd be all grubby, the little kids, and they're playing, all around the campground all week, and they'd come home. My mom, forever over prepared. She'd get like a big Tupperware container, and she'd put barbecue sauce in it, and she'd soak all the meat that they were going to barbecue for the couple of nights in this barbecue sauce. So by the time they got home, she'd have to cook it all. So that usually meant that on the Monday evening, Memorial Day evening, she'd always have a barbecue. So she'd always have all these steaks that had been marinating in barbecue sauce for the whole weekend, and she'd have a big barbecue. We'd go over there and eat dinner with them, usually on this day, Memorial Day. So those are the good old days. We're probably talking 30 or so years ago, before our kids were even born. But just thinking about that today, missing my mom. Been gone for a few months now, and still miss her a lot. But I hope you've all had a nice Memorial Day. We had a nice, peaceful day. Amy and I just kind of goofing around. But anyway, just want to talk about a few of my memories. So God bless you guys, and you've had a good one. I'll talk to you soon.